If you're a gamer looking to lose at least 50 pounds, I'm going to show you the step-by-step guide that I used to lose over 50 pounds in less than a year. My name is Jordan, and I'm the head coach and owner of Phoenix Performance Coaching, where we empower gamers to reclaim their health, lose weight, and build the confidence to finally become the main character of their own lives. So here's a quick and easy 5-step process that I used to lose over 50 pounds in less than a year. So first and foremost, you must set up a very realistic goal. A lot of people setting New Year's resolution goals, they want to lose 50 pounds by the end of the year. That's a very realistic goal because that's 1 pound a week, which is sustainable, and it allows for a lot of flexibility to plan throughout the year, which I'll get to, but it allows for us to hit the gas on some weeks and hit the brakes or coast some other weeks. A big thing that a lot of people screw up is they don't actually assign actions to these goals. They have this somewhat nebulous goal of losing 50 pounds. So they have the goalpost, but they don't actually have the steps to get there. So one thing that we really need to do is assign actions to those goals, which are going to be daily movement, nutrition, and proper sleep. And so the next one, daily movement, what we want to do is come up with some form of daily movement goal. And that can be X number of minutes each day, something that you can do every single day rather than just like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example. I like starting off with something really simple, like maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes. 30 minutes seems to be a good sweet spot where every single day you're doing something. It doesn't have to be a workout in the gym. It doesn't have to be a workout at all. It can be going for a walk. It can be doing like a body weight workout at home while watching an episode of anime. It can be getting up and cleaning the house. It can be shopping. It can be anything that gets you up off the couch, moving in a time to where you would normally be sitting. So it's 30 minutes of extra movement each day. And then there can be days where maybe on Sunday, your 30 minutes of movement is just cleaning the house, doing chores. One life hack for this is habit stacking. I hate the term life hack, but I think this is pretty close. Is habit stacking to where maybe you're doing a body weight workout while watching anime, or listening to a podcast while walking around cleaning the house, or mowing the lawn, raking leaves, etc. So if you're able to do things that you enjoy on top of things that you maybe enjoy less, that is a good way to keep that motivation going to where you're able to kind of keep your brain occupied saying this sucks a lot less. Like one thing for me is I really don't like cooking, and so I'll just plug in a YouTube video or an audiobook, and it allows me to really just kind of shut my brain off while cooking and preparing food. So I hate it less. Number 3, we really want to focus on sleep. This is probably the most important thing you need to do because if you have proper foundation of sleep, you're going to feel like a damn superhero. And a lot of times people try to set up the morning routine without really keeping an eye on the evening routine, and they're setting their sleep routine backwards. And so start on an evening routine. And one quick and easy rule, so to speak, that I like to follow is the rule of 4. And I might turn this into a separate video, but it's essentially 4 hours before bed, stop all work. You're cutting off all emails, texts, calls, etc., everything that is going to keep your brain in work mode, and start focusing on winding down. And another caveat to this is I really like doing more fantasy stuff or fiction stuff. So D&D prep can be a good alternative for this. Reading, writing, playing games, watching TV, all stuff that's going to keep you outside of work mode, because then that's just going to cause extra stress and anxiety towards into the evening. 3 hours before bed, stop eating big meals. And so try not to have dinner within 3 hours of bed. If you do feel a little peckish and you want to have like a little snack of like a protein bar or some fruit, that's fine. But having a big meal within 3 hours before bed can impede on sleep because it is causing your body to burn extra energy digesting that food rather than starting to wind down, getting prepared for sleep. And you can be digesting the meal into the earlier parts of your sleep, which can lessen the quality of your sleep. 2 hours before bed, stop drinking a lot of liquids. If you need to sip on something to take medicine, or if your mouth is just dry, that's fine. But don't try to finish the rest of this bottle because you have a water goal within 2 hours before bed, because you'll be waking up pissing all night. 1 hour before bed, cut out all screens. Now, this is by and large probably the hardest rule to follow. So instead of just completely going Amish and cutting out all screens 1 hour before bed and just reading and writing, start small. Start maybe 10 minutes before bed. You start doing like a mind dump. I don't have a journal in front of me. Maybe just do like a brain dump on a journal, like pen and paper, and get ready for bed. And you can start like 10 minutes before bed. Expand that to 15 minutes. Ideally, you're having no screens within an hour before bed, because the blue light can really mess with your circadian rhythm. One caveat to that, I will say, I think you get more of the blue light stim from your phone than you do like TV. This is purely conjecture. I have no science to support this, but I think watching TV or playing a game on the big screen is going to have less of an impact than doom scrolling on your phone or even playing a handheld. I think the closer the screen is to you, the more stimulus you'll get. Again, this is purely theoretical because I know that if I'm doom scrolling or if I'm playing on my Switch or Steam Deck, I tend to feel a little bit more wired than if I'm just watching a TV or playing a game on my TV, kind of wind me down a little bit. So use that as a little caveat. Stay hydrated. So that's sleep. Fourth, where are we? 4. Number 4 is tune up your nutrition. If your goal is to lose a pound a week, you're going to want to be in a caloric deficit of roughly 500 calories a day. That's going to equate to about a pound a week. That is very reasonable for most people. 500 calories is the equivalent of 1 5-layer burrito. And so you can see how easy it is to overconsume. So one thing that you'll probably want to do is track your calories in some way, shape, or form. Normally, when we're working with clients, the first thing we do is we just have them track their food without even giving them a calorie goal. And tracking can mean many things to different people. So what we try to do is find a good sweet spot. It can be downloading a free calorie tracking app that allows you to just track your calories and get a good breakdown of your calories and macros. It could also be something more on the qualitative side, where you're just writing it down in a journal or on the notes section on your phone, just saying, I ate a sandwich and chips for lunch and chicken fettuccine alfredo for dinner. The reason why we want to track our food and create some form of food log is because it forces us to be mindful of what we're eating. If you're like me, you can easily fall into a routine of every time I walk through the kitchen, I grab a cookie or a handful of M&Ms or something like that. If you have to write it down each time, where the fuck is my hands, or take a picture of your hand each time you grab a handful of M&Ms, you're going to force yourself to stop and think, do I really want this? Am I doing this out of habit, or am I actually hungry and want a small snack? And if the answer is you're hungry and you want a small snack, cool. But if you find yourself just going through the motions of going through the kitchen, feeling like I just need something, or every time I go through the kitchen, I grab a handful of this or that, creating a food log is a good way to be mindful of those habits and to help kind of break that cycle. So goal number 1 with the client is just to track calories or track food in some way, shape, or form. And then we create a calorie goal. So after about 2 weeks of just simply tracking, we'll stack on a calorie goal, and that will be the 500 calorie deficit. The reason why I like tracking for the first couple of weeks without a calorie goal, because we need to see where your starting point is. A lot of times people underreport how much they're eating, or they underestimate how much they actually eat. So if they assume if you assume you're eating 2,000 calories and then you do a 500 calorie deficit, that puts you at 1,500 calories. And then we go through the actual data, and then you realize you were actually eating 2,500 calories. That's a 1,000 calorie swing, and that can be unsustainable. So we spend a few weeks tracking calories, figure out where your starting point is, and then we drop it down by 500 calories to make it a realistic, sustainable calorie goal that will yield that 1 pound a week weight loss. Step number 5, and I think this is very often overlooked, is actually planning in diet breaks. I hate the term cheat meals because that implies you're doing something wrong. I liked using diet breaks, and you can use short-term diet breaks. Saturday, I play Magic with the boys, so therefore I'm going to have Taco Bell that day, and I'm going to plan my calories for it. But Saturday will probably be a little bit of a higher day calorically than the rest of the week. That's totally fine. I also like planning week-long diet breaks every 3 to 4 months. A normal diet break, if you're in a decent deficit, should be every 4 to 12 weeks, but you can kind of stretch that out if you're on a mild deficit or if you have like your Saturday night Taco Bell session. These diet breaks are really good to be planned around like your birthday week. 4th of July is a big one. Christmas to New Year's, obviously. Thanksgiving is a good one, to just plan a week of eating at a maintenance. You're not going to be going completely off the rails binge eating. That's what most people do Thanksgiving through New Year. Instead, you're going to be setting your calories back up to that maintenance, and you're going to be enjoying a little bit more food while still tracking, still being mindful of portion sizes and everything like that, but allowing for a little bit more flexibility and freedom so that way you don't feel like you're being overly restrictive. Long story short, planning a week-long diet break every 8 to 16 weeks can be a really good way to increase adherence because you know you have a break coming up, sustainability to where you're not feeling like you're being restrictive to way too long, and it can help maintain your metabolism so that way you don't feel like it's completely tanking and would put you at risk of rebounding. I'm sure a lot of people have done this. I know I'm guilty of this as well, where you crash, you go hard, January 1st, go all out, balls out, and lose 20 pounds, and then revert back to the behaviors you were doing before and gain 30. That's called weight rebounding. That's because you're crashing so hard that your metabolism doesn't really know what's going on. And then when you revert back to the behaviors that got you there in the first place, you are then actually in a worse off position. So then you regain more weight than what you actually lost. So there you have it, quick and dirty, 5 rules on how you can lose 50 pounds this year. If that interests you, go ahead and like and subscribe. And if you're interested in joining an awesome community of like-minded gamers looking to reclaim their health and lose weight, join our Discord. The link will be in the description. Completely free. There are a lot of free resources in there to help get you to that 50-pound weight loss goal, if not more. And we've helped hundreds of clients achieve similar results. So join the Discord, completely free. Check it all out. Take advantage of the free resources, and I'll see you on the inside.